Hey everyone, welcome back to Hit Wicket, and today we're going to be doing a podcast for the upcoming Asia Cup. We're going to be doing a preview. We do have a guest star, Ifaz by today. It's going to be, we actually don't know how long we're going to talk for. Come on, it's cricket. It could go for a while, it could go for a short time, but yeah, we'll see. We'll talk quickly about Bangladesh. That'll be our major talk point actually, and then we'll talk a bit about India and a bit about Pakistan as well, and also a little bit about the other teams too, and how the whole comp will run and stuff like that. But as we know, the competition is going to be held in Pakistan and Sri Lanka, a bit of a combination thing. Majorly in Sri Lanka, especially towards the latter end of the tournament. But to begin, it's in Pakistan. Yeah, so let's get a quick started. Let's go into Bangladesh. So I guess first of all, Ifaz, how are you going? How's everything with you?
Thanks for having me in your show. It's an honor and privilege, of course. Always good talking cricket with you boys. Yeah, plenty happening in the cricket world, and as you know, Asia Cup is the battle for the Asian throne, right? It's good to be here. Thanks, Nava and Naji, for inviting me.
Yeah, that's all good. Yeah, we know how much knowledge he holds, especially towards any Bangladesh related thing. There's a lot of knowledge in that head. Don't worry about that. So I guess I'll shoot it back to you first. So let's go through a bit of Bangladesh. The squad was announced. Of course, everyone's announced their squad now, but yeah, the squad. How's it looking for you? Who do you think is a strong point? Who do you think might be missing that should have been there? What were your overall thoughts?
Yeah, no, I think it's quite a well balanced squad. I mean, it's quite general if you look at all the names there. But obviously, I'm sure you guys know that Mahmoud Zaria caused quite a stir in the media world and in the Bangladeshi cricket scene. He did deserve a chance because he's averaging over 40 in the last 10 games or so at least. Since the 2019 World Cup, if you see Mahmudullah's average and also even Shakib's average, if you see batting wise, Mahmudullah is still leading in that front. And I've mentioned in many of my videos that it's not that you're doing him a favor. Mahmudullah is a key man, given that his experience, and even in the India series not too long ago, we've seen him sort of carry that innings along with Mehdi, and they won the series. So I think that was the only selection I thought was a bit iffy. But there's a bit of an injury cloud on the Bangladesh team as well, because Leighton Das is still recovering from a fever, so he's probably going to miss the first round. And should Bangladesh not make it to the next round, then his Asia Cup's pretty much gone. And then Ebadot missed out as well because he's got a ongoing injury. So those are things that Bangladesh has to manage. So I feel, given all of that, I still be confident in what chances they have. But I think skill-wise or form-wise, Bangladesh is still okay. I mean, if you see the whole year Super League, they're placed third in the table. The biggest challenge of Bangladesh is their dressing room woes, right? I think they gotta get a grip of the dressing room. I think that's the first challenge, and I think for someone like Shakib coming into this leadership role, I think that will be his biggest challenge. I don't know if you guys have seen the interview with Tamim. It was quite evident that it is no secret that there is an issue. There's a feud between some of the players and the coaches, or Tamim and the coach, and etc. So it's never pretty having those, but also you got to keep in mind that Bangladesh does need the experience in big world events, especially Mushfiq, Shakib, Tamim, Mahmudullah. If should they get selected, all of them together in the World Cup, it will be one of the most experienced sides that goes into playing the World Cup. So those are things that needs to be looked into. I think if you tell me what are Bangladesh's chances in the Asia Cup, I honestly feel, if you asked this question to me 3 months ago or 4 months ago, I would have said they definitely have a chance of winning the Asia Cup. But now I'm a bit 50-50. I definitely think they can make it to the next round. But facing someone like India and Pakistan and adding that dressing room issues, I think
instability there.
And I think there's a mountain to climb there. But look, should the team find a new chemistry under the new leader, if Shakib can find a grip of the team and the chemistry, and the coach can get a grip of things, I think you never know. Bangladesh has played 2012, 2016, 2018. They've played the finals. So why not? You can't write them off.
Yeah. No, that's definitely a good insight for sure. I think Bangladesh do have a pretty decent looking squad, and as you said, there's a lot of utility players in there, a lot of players who can do both batting and bowling. And in those like dead subcontinent, like there's a few of those wickets, especially the Pakistan early on in the tournament. A lot of those wickets are very dead. Like as you've seen, they're very batting favored. So you'll need a lot of those utility players. Like you need more than 5 bowlers for sure, at least 6.7.
Yeah, especially, I mean, if you look at the pace attack of Bangladesh, that's definitely an advantage,
Yeah.
right? Like, that's a key point for Bangladesh.
Yeah.
If you look at the top order, Tanzim Hassan Tamim got selected because now that Leighton Das is away, it's more than likely that he's going to make his debut in the ODI format. And then they got Naeem Sheikh, who scored like more than 1,000 runs in the domestic season, but hasn't quite fired in the Emerging Asia Cup.
Yeah.
So he's a bit iffy. I personally feel his technique needs a lot of looking into. So you've got a very inexperienced top order, but then you got middle order, which has Shakib and Mushfiq.
Yeah.
That's where I felt Mahmoud was a key man. But then you got someone like Toy Ridho, who's obviously very new and fresh, but like he's, breakthrough into the scene has been brilliant. But it waits to be seen how long he can hold on to this form, because with the big events coming up ahead, I think this Asia Cup is an acid test for him for sure. And Taskin Ahmed, hopefully he holds his fitness. Hassan Mahmood's doing well. Ifaz has been a bit off, to be honest. Like you're not finding what you need from him. But we've seen Alan Donald actually work with him with some new variations and stuff. We've seen him bowl like the straight seam slower ones instead of the scramble seam ones. So I mean, I think the pace bowling attack's looking sort of good. That's like definitely a plus point. The spin's okay as well. Like if you've got Mehdi Hassan Miraj and you've got Shakib Al Hassan. So I think all in all, it's a very balanced side, and no one can walk in and think, oh, we're gonna win this against Bangladesh. It's not gonna happen.
Speaking of Mehdi Hassan Miraj, what do you think of? I was going to talk to you, but what do you think of those two? Especially, I think Shakib and Mehdi will play a very crucial role with bat and ball. Like, how do you think the impact will be in the tournament?
Yeah, I think the impact is, well, we all know the type of impact that Shakib always makes pretty regularly. He's going to be crucial. His experience, that he's sort of, gathered over his time is going to be critical in these sort of conditions. I think Mehdi, is again like a very good utility player. He's definitely both of them are key, because those sort of wickets again need like spin bowling, and you're definitely gonna need like Mehdi's role, like coming in lower at the lower end, like scoring quick runs, is going to be pretty crucial as well. So I think those two men are going to be very crucial for Bangladesh's chances, especially the middle overs in terms of the bowling. And they're going to be as crucial even in the batting too. But up front, I think definitely Tuscan's going to be very important. The middle overs, those two guys definitely like hold a huge role in overs like 15 to like 35, 40.
I agree with that. And I guess the final thing is, where do each of us think they'll finish? I think I'll go Super Fours. I don't think they'll make it to the final. I think India or Pakistan will take them. I think both of them will beat Bangladesh in the Super Four stage, and they won't get out of that. But they'll they'll go past the group stage. I think that will happen.
I would say similar boat. I think they'd get to out of the group stage, but not quite to the finals. Anything can happen though. But that's what my gut feeling is at the moment. I think they might be close to getting out of it. But it's good. It's always going to be a challenge to beat Pakistan and India, definitely. But I'm not writing them off. I think they still have a chance.
I think we are sort of predicting this, given the fact all the issues that's happening in the background of Bangladesh. That's why I said, like, if I went 3 months back, I wouldn't be saying this. But I also have to side with you guys at this stage. I don't think Bangladesh will play the finals, but I hope I'm wrong. I sincerely hope I'm wrong. And you never know. Like 1 or 2 good games here and there, and they find their mojo. You never know. Cricket's a fun game.
I think it's definitely critical for them to get off to a good start, because short tournaments like this, you start off well, you can carry momentum forward, and it gives a lot of confidence to the team. Any issues that they may have will get forgotten about if they have good wins up front.
Absolutely.
First game is absolutely critical. If they get bowled out for like 150 and the team chases a none down or something, that's gonna be
And it's curtains anyway
Yeah.
because you got 2 games.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think the start is key for them if they have any chance of getting into the finals.
Absolutely.
So now, what do you think? How do you think Pakistan's going to go in the Asia Cup overall? What are your general thoughts, and what do you think their strengths and weaknesses are? Or what are your general thoughts on the whole squad as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, Pakistan has been playing. They've been playing against weaker sides, but they've been beating them. They've gotten good run through their bowlers, good run through their batsmen. Shaheen's coming back like decently well. Harris Rauf's been bowling like they've got at typical Pakistan side. They've got very good fast bowlers. That's going to be their strength for sure. I think early through that group stage on those dead wickets, those guys have performed on those dead wickets, which will come in very handy. Obviously, like Babar Azam's going to be a crucial figure for them. He's going to have to score runs. He's the head batsman. Rizwan, I think, is an underrated guy. He's going to have to finish well. He's been in decent form, but not as good as I've seen him play. He's not in that sort of form at the moment, but if he comes good, that'll be very important for them. Another very crucial player, I think probably Pakistan's most crucial player in this tournament is Shadab Khan. I definitely feel with the bat, with the ball, leg spinner on those dead pitches is going to come in very handy. He's batting. I believe there was a stat that he's averaging 50 in his last 8 innings or something along those lines, something pretty good from what I've seen. And he is a very good finisher. He's improved his batting a hell of a lot in those last 2-ish, 3-ish years across all formats. But his impact with the bat and ball, I think, will determine a lot of how Pakistan goes. And of course, towards the back end, Shaheen, Nazim, Harris Rauf, just looking at that, any pace bowler enthusiast will be salivating. They all can bowl like close to 150. They all swing it around, especially Shaheen and Nazim. Harris Rauf is probably the quickest out of them. He doesn't swing it as much, but they've all got like differences about them too. Shaheen, the lefty, of course. Any top order will be shaking a little bit versing that sort of pace attack, I believe. But I guess what are your thoughts about this squad?
I think it's a very balanced side, but again, Pakistan's unpredictability.
Yeah, that's true. That's
always turns out to be their strength sometimes. Because you get in and you don't know what sort of mood they're in. Because even if you see the Afghanistan series, like there was a very close game, the second one, right?
That's
and
true. Yeah.
And you tend to think like Afghanistan as well, like you can't write them off. They gave Pakistan a run for their money. But I think that pace attack of Pakistan will shake any batters out there. Like someone consistently bowling at 145 plus is always a challenge. And given that the wickets will tend to be a bit flattish. And again, depends on the weather again, because you're playing in 2 different countries. But I think even raw pace is always beneficial if you bowl in the right lengths and the right line. So I think Pakistan's definitely a contender for the title for sure. And watch out for Babar Azam, Harris Rauf, Shaheen Shah Afridi, and Nasim Shah. I think they've got a good bunch of players, and with those wins, those close wins against Afghanistan, they go into the Asia Cup with good momentum.
That's very true. Afghanistan again repeating what they did. I think it was 1 year ago, right? Exact same game basically. Nazim Shah getting him over the line. Who would have thought he wins it as a batsman?
It's one of those things, right? I know it's a bit off topic, but like if you see Bangladesh and India in world events, it'll always be match, right? And India always somehow wins it in the end. So I think it's very similar with Pakistan and Afghanistan.
That's very true. I mean, I guess we'll close it out with Pakistan. So the final thing is, where do we think they'll finish? Where do each of us think they'll finish? I'm gonna say, I'm gonna go ballsy. I'm gonna say that I'll say they'll win the comp. I think they have a quite balanced side. They have a quite strong batting unit. If the right people perform with bat and ball, I feel like they have all bases covered. That's the main thing for me. So I think they'll win the comp.
I mean, to be honest, with me, I think the final will probably be India-Pakistan. But
the universe would want it. Asian Cricket Council would want it.
And the market is.
Big payday for all those guys, But I definitely think the final, I have a strong feeling that probably those two will be in the final. But as you said, I think Pakistan's unit just seems a little bit more like settled at the moment. So I'm definitely sort of edging towards them being the being the winners of this comp as well.
Just pick one.
So yeah, no, but I think Pakistan will win. I think just because they have a nice settled unit, I think that they have a good chance. I'm giving them like basically my vote that they.
Yeah, I think it's these predictions are contagious. I think
He's already wearing green.
He's wearing green. And the Pakistan color. It's very close to the Pakistan color.
Yeah, it is.
But yeah, look, I think Pakistan definitely goes to the final for sure. That's what my prediction would be, but I wouldn't rule out close games.
Yeah,
I see humdingers being played in Sri Lanka and Pakistan, at least Sri Lanka in the latter half of the tournament. And given that India are sort of finding their mojo, with Bumrah coming back still, and
they're not as settled.
I don't think India even if you think about the long run in the World Cup as well, a couple of months from here, I don't think India is favorites to win it.
No.
So I think Pakistan. I would say, I know I said Bangladesh not making the finals, but I think India and Bangladesh both have a chance of making the finals. Either or. But Pakistan definitely.
Okay, so now we move on to Team 3, the team with the most followers, the most popular team. Team that's a bit unsettled right now, I think that's fair to say at the moment. Usually India, I think throughout all tournaments, are most settled side, but this is a very people coming back from injuries, new guys like Tilak Verma being jumped in there. It's an interesting squad. I have to say there's some exciting stuff. There's some injury maybe prone stuff. But what do you think of the overall India squad at the moment?
Yeah, look, I think in terms of the squad they've selected, I think there's no real surprises there. Not really.
I think Tilak Verma's.
I guess, but given his performance against West Indies. Where he was sort of Mr. Reliable in that time, especially with like their big guns not there. I think it wasn't too much a surprise for me personally that he was included in that squad. Overall I think they have a pretty decentish squad. I guess you obviously got Bumrah there, so this will be interesting to see how he goes. On his proper tournament that he's playing. ICC tournament that he's playing after extended time out. It'll be very interesting to see how he goes. But I guess they have a few questions about their batting. I think they have, if I'm not mistaken, maybe one of you guys can correct me with it. There's still recoveries from KL Rahul and Shreyas Iyer.
So I think KL Rahul missed the first round, basically the first 2 games, and he's due to join from the 4th game or the 3rd game if India does qualify, which he will. I think I'm not too sure about Shreyas Iyer though.
I thought Shreyas Iyer is still carrying
I think he just came back.
So
he hasn't played any games.
So those two, this is gonna be interesting because you got one, KL Rahul's not. Is basically not there for the first few games. Shreyas Iyer just came back, so he's got not much match practice. And then on the other side, you got Tilak Verma as well. He's been actually been scoring runs. So do you slot him in above these guys who haven't actually played? It's actually kind of a tricky makeup of what they're going to have in their top 4, I guess. I heard rumors that apparently Kohli might slot down to 4, and then they might get someone else in at 3. Is what I've sort of heard. So. But honestly, I wouldn't move Kohli from 3. He's got all of his runs there. He's the legend of number 3 of batting in ODI cricket. So I wouldn't change that around. But honestly, I reckon they should probably go with Tilak Verma in that top 4. Just because he pretty much stood up and no one else stood up in the West Indies tour. He batted pretty well, to be honest. So I think again there's a little bit of instability in the sort of not as stable as, for example, Pakistan. But I guess the batting, obviously they have Rohit Sharma and Kohli back. I'm sure Kohli is always a big performer in the big moments. But I guess with their bowling, interesting. I mean, I think they'll definitely go with their bowling makeup is probably going to be obviously Jadeja, probably Akshar Patel. I'm guessing you got Siraj, Shami, and Bumrah. And then
I think they'll go one of Jadeja, so they won't go Bird.
Yeah.
And then Kuldeep.
Yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
China.
Sorry. Yeah. So they'll probably get one of those. So yeah, I think their spin's not bad. They got some good variation in their spin. Interested to see how the seam attack will go though. I'm 100% certain with that. You got Bulma not 100%. And he's probably expected to lead that attack. So it'll be interesting to see how they go.
I personally think like they will try and rotate Boomerang. They wouldn't get him to be full flow because you got to also factor in that playing against Ireland, no disrespect to them, and playing the Asia Cup is wholly different.
It's
like,
completely different.
The intensity is a lot different. You know, I mean, they're flat wickets. That means the bowlers have to put in that extra effort as well. And same as the batters, like there's always that pressure to score runs for the batters there as well. So I think given that Rohit Sharma from the top is not in his best form, Virat Kohli, not the Virat Kohli that we know, but I know again, like he's a big match player who's stand up for big occasions. So India, like you said, Najee, I think definitely a bit unsettled, but I think still okay to play the finals. I think good contenders for the Asia Cup. For sure. Side by side with Bangladesh as well.
The only other question mark I guess I had with India is probably Hardik Pandya in terms of his batting. So he hasn't actually contributed much of late, which is a bit of a worry. Surprisingly, he's actually been bowling like all right, but he is more on the side for his batting. So that is
his depth over batting.
He's in the side more as a batsman, although he actually has been bowling not too bad. So that is a little bit of a concern from them. They probably really do need runs. He's probably going to be batting at probably 5-6, something like that. And that's quite an important position in ODI. So there's a bit of a question mark around that. Like he probably, I'm sure they'll stick with him. They also got Suryakumar Yadav in the team, so do they pick him? He hasn't had a good run of ODIs, but then.
They left Dhawan out. They left Chahal out. Those were two big calls, especially because Dhawan in ICC events, especially. Like if you think they kept Dhawan in the Asia Cup, that means he was in the plans for the World Cup. So it's definitely out of contention for the World Cup. So so those are big calls from the selectors. So waits to be seen. And I think when you got teams who are performing well in one-day cricket like Bangladesh, Pakistan, India, like they're all. If you look at in pen and paper, it's gonna be a close game, right? It's more a mental game here. Like who can battle it out there mentally and just stay in the game in those crucial times. And I think that's what we will split the sides.
Definitely.
It's a bit unrelated, but it sort of reminds me of the Mitch Marsh, Cameron Green thing with Australia. Cameron Green's a really good bowler, but he hasn't proved himself with the bat. And Mitchell Marsh, well, we saw what he did with the bat. He was absolutely brilliant. It's sort of like that with Hardik, but I guess in India's case, do they have a Mitchell Marsh on that side that can bat six and dominate? I don't know if they do. Like,
mate. Shahrukh Thakur.
The Lord.
Mate, that guy's got like the golden of golden.
He's got the golden arm.
I've never seen. And even with the bat, he just randomly goes crucial runs. He's like looks like the most unathletic guy just randomly does some random stuff and like wins the game out of nowhere. Just don't know. Just like
I think India's missing parts though.
100%.
Definitely.
That's pretty huge.
So,
I guess they'll have Ishan Kishan keeping.
Because
you got KR Rahul is pretty much he's not there for the beginning half. And then Sanju Samson's a travelling reserve, so he's probably not gonna sort of play.
And I would say like another big worry for India, which usually they don't have, but I would say the low order hitting is not really there because their four bowlers won't be able to bat. Like Shami can't really bat, Siraj can't really bat, Bumrah can't really bat, Kuldeep can't really bat. That's their four bowlers. That's number 8 is number 11 basically. And now Bumrah's going to score 100 in the Asia Cup. So those four can't bat. And then you have a Hardik at number 6 who's struggling. So that's like your last 5 batsmen are like not really there. Jadeja's been actually excellent at number 7. He's, I know, averaging, I think it was like 50 or 60 in the last 2 years. He's been very brilliant and again underrated by India. I don't know why they didn't see him as one of the most important players in that side. He's never seen as that important, but I feel like he is.
I think he's X factor.
He definitely.
Because he bowls decent left armers and he's a very handy bat. And I've seen him many times carrying the tail end.
And let's not forget about his fielding.
Oh my god,
That's
one of the
like
best fielders in the
he's
world.
probably one of the if not the best fielder at the moment. Like,
These days you pick players because they have good fielding.
exactly.
Yeah.
10 times have changed.
Yeah.
So
Exactly, I mean, he can easily save 10, 15, 20 runs even in a game, and that can be a huge difference between like 280 or 300.
absolutely. And I think they're I mean, I don't know how the pitches are going to be, but I personally feel it'll be a lot aligned to ICC events. So ICC have asked India, ICC will make sure that they're flat wickets in the ICC event because they want more runs. More runs means more money. So if they emulate that in the Asia Cup, because essentially it's a dress rehearsal, I think you need that tail end batting because scores of 300 plus will make the difference. 280, yes, it will be a tough game, but you don't know. Like you have to bowl really well to defend 280.
These days batsmen aren't scared of 280. Even 300. They're pretty they back themselves. 320. That starts getting a bit tricky, but they're still.
That's why the variation is really important.
For sure.
Exactly. So.
That's something. Like India in that recent tour against, I think it was the West Indies, right? I think their last four like collapsed every game for like 20 runs, 15 runs, and it was a big talking point because that is going to be low order runs. We know how crucial that is, especially in latter moments of the tournament. We've seen how many times, especially India themselves, how many times have their top four failed, like in the latter stages of the tournament.
Yeah, if you look at India's tour of Bangladesh, like they were absolutely flop with their batting. I mean, if you look at Mehdi Hasan Miraj's innings with Mustafiz on the other end, like he literally won that game out of nowhere. So that kind of signifies that how critical and crucial it is to have a number 7 or number 8 capability of batting. And I think in world cricket, Australia has sorted that brilliantly, right? Like Pat Cummins is more than handy with the bat. Coming down number 7 and 8. So it's a good headache for India to have, and I think it's too late to find that replacement. I think they want to find form for Hardik Pandya to sort of flourish in that position, and so that they don't have to worry about those late overs prowess that we need.
That's true.
I definitely think Hardik Pandya needs to stop saying controversial stuff and just focus on the ball.
West Indies aren't helping us.
What was he saying? The West Indies, they should focus on facilities. Some other
we don't even get basic things or something, basic utilities or something.
Mate, just focus on playing a game. You're not scoring any runs. Focus on that.
Sorry, the king's son.
It's not that he also said something else as well, which was just a bit dumb. Just focus on your play.
You didn't get breakfast on bed.
There was something else. Actually, even I think the Indian fans as well were sort of saying you should just focus on your playing.
I think India off the field, there's apart from the players, Hardik Pandya has had his fair share of dull moments in the press, but I think in general the Indian media does fume a lot of the things which the players don't like as well, because they have all these advertising campaigns demeaning other sides, and they've never won an ICC even since those campaigns have come out. So so you wanna lay low a little bit and just play underdog for a change. I think but having said all of that, India's a good side.
That's for sure.
Exactly.
I guess final thing from India is where do you think they'll finish? I'm gonna say the final will be India Pakistan win, so India runners up. So
I guess that's the same answer for all of us.
Same answer.
Considering what we said for the other ones.
Technically, I would still have 50-50 Bangladesh India.
So you're saying Pakistan completely and India
Bangladesh. 50-50, if I can say that.
That's good.
We have our 3 star players. So I think starting with you, who do you think is going to be your star performer?
So I guess
you're going to do all rounder.
Do
bowler and you do batsman. So who do you think is going to be the star all rounder of this tournament?
There were a couple of contenders for sure. I think the 3 contenders have to be Shahab Khan, Jadeja, and Shakib. I think those 3. And Mehdi's also very close in there too. So those 4 I think would have to go. I initially was saying yeah, I mean, I'll probably still go with him. I'm going to say Sharab. I'm a huge fan of Sharab. I've been for a while. He's a leg spinner. I love leg spinners, of course, ever since Shane Warne, the great Shane Warne. But yeah, Sharab, I'm a big fan of him, and I really like that he's improved his batting a long way. I think, but though, don't discount those other three. They'll have big tournaments too. And I think these four players are going to be crucial in determining how each of their teams will go. Like India, Pakistan, or Sharab for Pakistan, Jadeja for India, and those two, Shakib and Mehdi for Bangladesh. They'll all play a crucial role. But I just think Sharab, he's been in good form with the bat. He's been in good form with the ball too. He's a great fielder as well. The tournament's half in Pakistan at the initial stages, especially, and if you can get off to a good start, that usually sets you up for the tournament. And I feel like he will, and Pakistan will. Yeah, so I'll go with him for the all rounder. Who are you going?
Yeah. So for the bowling, yeah, I had a bit of a think about it. Or not really. I just went with Tuscan because I think he's like awesome at the moment for Bangladesh. Yeah. And yeah, in terms of contenders, there is no one. So no, I'm kidding. No. Look, I think there's definitely like good fast bowling stocks for Pakistan. We got a couple of good fast bowlers. Harris Ruff's probably a big one.
Yeah.
You know, he's been he bowls pretty quick. You know, he's been key for Pakistan in the success that they've had. But yeah, I just think Tuscan because he's sort of carried that Bangladesh team attack, and I think he's a big reason for their success or any success they've had in the last 2 years. Is a big reason is because of Tuscan because he's just come a long way. He's bowling pretty fast. Not only that, he's actually getting like some movement off the wicket, and he's actually made some good quality batsmen look really dumb. Of last 2 years.
Yeah.
And even like what was the last tournament? The last World Cup. When was that? That was
Yeah.
So that even in that one, like he just like made some batsmen just look very like clueless what's happening, and to do that in a T20 match with white ball is like pretty damn hard. So I think definitely for me, star performer is going to be Tuscan. I think I'm really hoping he has a good tournament and really spearheads that Bangladesh lineup and it'll be crucial as well. So for them to succeed. So, yeah.
Yeah, I guess finally, Ifaz, who are you going to go with the bat?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of contenders for that. I think definitely Virat Kohli is the name. It's a safe option. But look, I think contender-wise, I think definitely Virat Kohli is there. Mushfiqur Rahim is there. There is, Rohit Sharma as well. You don't know if he can find his mojo. There's Babar Azam, of course, from Pakistan.
Although he doesn't rate Babar Azam, so.
Yeah, personally, I haven't seen him perform like when I was seeing him, he didn't perform. But obviously, he's got good stats to back him. But I'm gonna make a special call here into the contenders list. Tawhid Ridoy, I think watch out for that guy. He's also played LPL as well, and he's got the experience of LPL. He's been playing in Sri Lankan conditions. So, but I still think Virat Kohli, given the amount of India-Pakistan games that are potentially will happen, and I think Virat Kohli will stand up for big occasions. So, I think Virat Kohli is the batter to watch out in the tournament. Yeah,
no surprise days.
Yeah,
he's Virat Kohli. Yeah. I mean, I'm just thinking about that last game against Pakistan.
Same, exactly.
That's down the ground.
That's
unreal. My God, it's unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
It's not. It was like
I mean, I can't imagine playing it like that. Like,
no,
how do you get that shot?
That was insane. It was just like a backward delivery that he somehow has hit straight down the ground. Like, it's just insane.
Yeah, I think adrenaline at that point, it just gets you going.
Yeah.
And you manufacture shots which are not even in your repertoire. So.
No, big moments. He stood up.
So I guess that's our thoughts on Bangladesh, India, Pakistan. That's our little preview. Well, it's probably a bit bigger than a little preview, but I hope you guys enjoyed our thoughts. Unless either of you two have any final remarks.
No, I think it's going to be a good tournament. A lot of traveling to do for Bangladesh and Sri Lanka, and I hope the traveling doesn't get the better of them. I mean, it's not fair in many ways, but these days cricket's a very sort of globalized game, if I were to say, sort of. So I think they're used to traveling already, but it promises to be an exciting encounter. I think the World Cup fever starts from Asia Cup.
I mean, I think I'm definitely looking forward to the Asia Cup, and just to think about, you could have like 3 or 4 India versus Pakistan games. I think that's yeah, I mean, I just can't think of a time where it's been so close this in such a short
It might get boring.
It's like a tour within
it's like a leg, first leg. So
it's like it's gonna be interesting. Those games are always very excited. So I'm definitely looking forward to those big games. I hope Bangladesh give a good run to these bigger nations and actually can make it back into the final. But it's just a funny game. Just never know what might happen. Honestly,
Look, I personally feel as a closing remark is that Bangladesh have placed number 3 in the ODI Super League. They've played brilliant cricket for the last 2.5 years under the leadership of Tamim Iqbal. There's a leadership shake-up, of course, but Shakib's no new face. I think players know him. I hope
so.
Well, he's got 16 million followers in his Insta, so. But look, I personally feel if the leadership change is what was needed to get the best output, and I think that's what Tamim's summary was as well. Look, if leadership was the only thing that needs to change for us to win this World Cup, then be it, right? So let's leave all that negativity aside, and I think Bangladesh is a very good side. You can't say that Bangladesh are not one of the big boys in ODI cricket. To say if you check their track, if you track back their records in South Africa, like they won brilliantly there, and they've beaten India at home as well. And beating India anywhere is always
a feat.
So I think the only cold feet Bangladesh ever. Bangladesh does get cold feet when they play Pakistan, and I think Pakistan will be a challenge in the Asia Cup. But apart from that, I think they can topple any side there. Pakistan will be a stretch. Like I'm not saying they can't beat Pakistan, but I'm saying it's all that mental barrier always with Pakistan. That's
everything will have to go right in that game for them to beat them.
It has to mean a lot, that game especially. So,
I guess we'll sort of wrap it up there. So again, thanks Ifaz for being on our podcast, or more like 1 hour movie. It's not really a podcast anymore. But thanks for your insights. I really appreciate it with all that knowledge in there. And
we might do another podcast maybe after the tournament's over, just to recap, I guess, when Bumrah gets that 100 that I was talking about.
Baba will get double 100 against Bangladesh. Something like that.
Always good to be talking cricket with you boys, and enjoyed it as well.
Oh, God.
I guess, final thing, let us know in the comments below how you think India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, how all of them will go. Do you think Nepal make it out of their group?
Nepal might be the prodigal
the dark horse.
Ends up winning.
Any crazy things you have, any crazy theories, let us know below. We hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you guys next time.
Okay, so moving on to Pakistan. So Naba, what do you think? What are your overall thoughts of Pakistan? What do you think their strengths, weaknesses are? Where do you think they'll end up in the World Cup as well?
In the World Cup?
Sorry. Jimmy, gosh, look at that. I'll start again. Probably a good time.